What's up, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new episode of WWE content. I'm sorry if I missed a few days of my recaps and predictions what was going on with Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, wrestlepalooza, but last week I have had an amazing Friday night. I got to go to Friday Night SmackDown the night before WrestlePalooza, and need I say, that was one of the coolest nights of my life. I finally got to be on SmackDown with my sister and our friend Angela. It was amazing. I saw my favorite wrestlers. I saw Paul Heyman, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss. I even saw Finn Balor in a dark match when he tagged with El Grande Americano and he faced Penta and AJ Styles. Friday night was the coolest thing I ever saw, and especially to see it a night before a WPLE WrestlePalooza, it was insane. Friday night was awesome. I got to be with the wrestling fans. I made signs. I had my whole outfit. I wore two wrestling shirts. One was the Acre Latino Heat shirt I got for my birthday. The other one I newly bought was a WrestleMania one with all the old wrestlers from the 80s and 90s, which was Jimmy Knight, Jim Neidhart, the Ultimate Warrior, Jake the Snake Roberts. It was amazing. The next day, which was WrestlePalooza, it was insane. Brock Lesnar and John Cena to start the night off. It was amazing, especially on ESPN. I gotta say, for them debuting a PLE on ESPN, it was pretty surprising. The whole night was legendary. I was so happy to see all the legends out, all the stars out in Indianapolis. Pat McAfee back on commentary. You know, for him, I kind of miss Pat McAfee. You know, he's funny, he's cool, and for him to be on commentary in Indianapolis on WrestlePalooza on ESPN, it was definitely a great night. But what made me laugh the most was AJ Lee and CM Punk versus Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. That entire match was just insane, beyond insane, beyond insane. I mean, for AJ Lee to come back after 10 years away, I mean, she did not miss a beat with the moves and the bumps she took and the hit in the mat. I mean, she played it so perfectly. I thought I was rewatching an old Divas match from like 2011, 2012. When she fought Becky Lynch, it was insane. And then you got double team moves. You got Punk and AJ Lee copying each other. Then you got Seth and Becky copying each other. Then they're on the announcement table. And then to top it all off, Becky Lynch taps out of AJ Lee's signature move. I mean, it was insane. I'm kind of glad Punk and Lee won because I did not want to hear Seth and Becky talking about how they're the greatest couple in WWE and how they run Monday Night Raw, they run the company, and blah, 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 blah. I was so happy that CM Punk and AJ Lee shut them up because that match was crazy on top of crazy on top of crazy. Then the main event, Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. I mean, it was electrifying. I mean, Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre, they did not quit like Punk, like Drew McIntyre didn't quit. Cody Rhodes did not quit. They pulled out all the stops. Drew McIntyre taking off the top turnbuckle pad thing, but then Cody Rhodes using that as a weapon, and he almost won, but he didn't. Thankfully, Thankfully, the match was still going on, but of course, Drew McIntyre was going to do the signature Claymore through the TV through Cody Rhodes' head. But then, instead, Cody Rhodes moves out of the way, and Drew McIntyre breaks his ankle. I'm like, what the heck is going on? I really thought Drew McIntyre was gonna win because of the claymores he did, all the stops. I mean, it was insane. But thankfully, Cody Rhodes retained, and it was amazing. Now, we have now a new women's world champion, Stephanie Vaquer. And I gotta say, I am so proud of her. She deserves this. She's gone through so much in NXT. She was a double champ in NXT. She was the NXT Women's Champion and the NXT Women's North American Champion. Now she's the new WWE Women's World Champion, which, of course, if anybody knows, Crown Jewel, last year, they had the inaugural Crown Jewel champion, which means for the men and the women, a champion from Monday Night Raw versus a champion from SmackDown face each other and becomes the Crown Jewel champion for both men and women. Now, last week we found out that Tiffany Stratton is going to be in a triple threat match against Nia Jax and Jade Cargill, who whichever wins, they're going to face Stephanie Vaquer at Crown Jewel in Australia. Now that is going to be insane. For the men, we all know we're running it back again between Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. Now, Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, they've had a bit of a history together. I mean, Seth Rollins knew Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes trained him in NXT. Cody Rhodes, that's like he has a family legacy. And what I thought was pretty interesting was that on Raw, of course, Cody starts the show. And I'm like, yes, finally, something to do about Cody Rhodes and Crown Jewel and not the Vision, thank God. But then, of course, the Vision comes out with Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins is going to talk crap about Cody Rhodes and the family dynasty and whatever, whatever. But what surprised me was that I thought he was going to talk about Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes teaming up at Bad Blood, because we all know WrestleMania 40, day one, Seth and Cody teamed up to take down the Bloodline. Of course, that didn't happen. But then day two, it was Bloodline rules, so literally anything went. I mean, the Bloodline came out, The Rock came out, John Cena came out, Jey Uso came out, Jimmy Uso came out, John Cena came out, Undertaker came out. I mean, it was crazy beyond crazy beyond crazy. Of course, Seth Rollins became Cody Rhodes' shield, which meant that, of course, Cody won thanks to Seth Rollins and what he did to Roman Reigns back in the day. But I really thought Seth Rollins was going to talk about what happened at Bad Blood, because we all know about the history between Seth and Roman and Cody and Roman and Cody and Seth and everything. To me, I thought he was going to talk about that. But of course he didn't. So, whatever. But what surprised me a little bit was how when Seth asked Cody, "What do you think about me?" Like, truthfully, what do you think about me? And Cody was like, interesting, because it's kind of confusing. And then he was praising him and how he talked about how they teamed up together. They didn't team up together. They went through war through each other back and forth. I mean, to me, it was kind of interesting that Cody was answering Seth Rollins' question with a question, then he answered it like a professional would do. Like, he praises him, but then he talks about the other side of Seth Rollins, which of course we all remember about, WrestleMania teamed up with Paul Heyman, and then what surprised me was that I now see a guy who doesn't hide behind his goons. I see the man front and center who wants to fight and who wants to fight back. And then what interests me was how Seth Rollins told him, wait a minute. You think this is all about, fighting? Like, this is about a fight? No, this is more than a fight. And then he got personal when he said, "Remember this watch? You bought this for me at Wrestle. You bought this for me after WrestleMania 40." And then he said, "Was this a ruse? Was this just a token to see whether or not you would have my back or I'd have your back?" Then he went into saying how you say you're the quarterback, you run the company, you're the top guy. I run this division. I run this company. I put my heart and soul on the line for this company, and yet you are thinking you're the quarterback. Then he said, "I'm the alpha." And Cody's like, "Wait a minute, no. You think you're the alpha?" Then he goes, "Wait, how many times have we fought? 3 times? And how many times have you won?" He hasn't won against Cody. He beat Seth at WrestleMania 38. He beat Seth at Hell in a Cell. And he beat him at WrestleMania Backlash of 2023. If nobody remembers, go on Peacock and rewatch those PLEs, because Cody and Seth did not hold back on each other. So, let me ask you guys this. Do you think that Seth will fight one-on-one fairly with Cody Rhodes? Or is my prediction proven that anytime things get too personal with Seth and things get too hard for him, he hides behind his goons and he hides behind his wife when things get too messed up? Think about that and we'll find out at Crown Jewel. Now, Cody and Seth, that's going to be a crazy match. But let's. I think it's time we talk about the Judgment Day for a second. I mean, let's think about this for a second. Dom's a double champion. And we all, and look, I'm happy he's a double champ. I'm happy he did what he did. I'm happy that he's carrying on two legacies. But so far, WWE is not giving him that much credit. I mean, he beat Vinkingo at Worlds Collide. He's a double champion, just like his father and his uncle Eddie from back in the day. And yet, all we get as a celebration is a measly 30-second backstage interview, and then we get a cheesy backstage celebration. Not to mention that we celebrate with champagne and chicken nuggets, and then Finn Balor pours the champagne on the chicken nuggets. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Now, we've all seen this before. Finn and Dom have been butting heads recently. And if history repeats itself, we are definitely seeing history repeating itself, like how Damien used to butt heads with Finn Balor about who was the leader, champion, no champion. At the time, Damien Priest was senior Money in the Bank. Now history is now repeating itself again, only this time it's about who do we trust. Because so far, Dominic has been buddy recently with a Grande Americano. So of course, Finn, being Finn, he's like, I thought you didn't need my help. Like, why'd you send Grande Americano? And then Dom goes, well maybe I didn't need his help. If you guys would have backed me up, I can take care of myself. Like, what do you want me to do? So of course, last night Dom has been a little bit on the backstage side recently, and now with Rusev back in WWE, he now wants a title shot. But I don't know, like the fact that Dom needs help from Finn and JD, and then Finn and JD are like, where's your friend Grande Americano? I thought you didn't need us. I mean, dude, come on. We all know that Dom has been distant from the Judgment Day recently, and without Liv there, it's like, what's the point? So I feel like maybe Dom at some point he's gonna leave the Judgment Day after Liv comes back, because before it was kind of like how Rhea left. Rhea left, Dom was alone, he didn't have anybody. Then Liv came in the picture, and then everything just went haywire after that. But now Liv is still out due to her injury, so what if Dom leaves? Like if Dom leaves and Liv comes back, that's gonna leave a big hole in the Judgment Day, and who's gonna pick sides with who? Now that will be interesting. What I didn't like though was that Dom put JD in a match against Rusev, and that was a big mistake because Rusev's a pretty big dude. And as Rusev puts JD in a signature submission move, Dom, you see he's gonna come in. You see he was gonna go in and maybe distract the ref, or maybe kick Rusev, and they were gonna do a no disqualification, a disqualification. They were gonna fight, blah blah blah. But then Dom hesitates. Like he legitimately hesitates. He stops in his tracks. He doesn't go in the ring. He doesn't do anything. He just stays there and watches JD suffer. And he suffers and he suffers. Then finally JD gives up and taps out. Finn, however, comes in the ring, he stops Rusev, but then they go back to fighting. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I did find out that Rusev is gonna face Dominic next week for the Intercontinental Championship. I've seen Dominic fight. I've seen Rusev fight. Rusev's a pretty big dude. He's gotten stronger. He's gotten a lot tougher after 5 years away from the company. So I think this will be the last time we see Dom as a double champion. More importantly, he will be done being the Intercontinental Champion for a while. And I've come to accept that actually, because Dom has done a lot so far in the past, like what, 7, 8 years in the company. He's done a lot. And I know, me being me, I'm going to be sad, I'm going to be mad he's going to lose, but at the same time, I'm happy I got to see Dom as Intercontinental Champion. I mean, I see him win a title at WrestleMania. I've seen him defend it a lot of times. I've seen him defend it against Penta after Mania. I've seen him defend it against Penta again at Backlash. I've seen him defend it at against AJ Styles one time on his 20th anniversary at SummerSlam, and then another time it was after Clash in Paris. He got to defend it at Money in the Bank against a AAA wrestler, Octagon Jr. Like, Dom has done so much with the title, and I am so glad I got to see that. But I feel like now, with him facing Rusev, his title reign will come to an end. If it does, I'll be sad, but at the end of the day, I'll be happy Plus, he's still the AAA Mega Champion, so he may lose one gold, but he's got another one. He's got another title belt around him. So for me, that's like a win lose win situation for Dominic. But either way, I'll be happy. Now, let's talk about the women's division for a second because the women's division has gone freaking haywire. Becky Lynch is freaking delusional out of her mind. I'm pretty sure Bailey is going through a split personality disorder thing because she's happy one minute, she's angry the next, she's sad the next minute, she likes Lyra, she doesn't like Lyra, she calls Lyra stupid, she calls Lyra her friend. I mean, it's just beyond crazy. And then the ending of Monday Night Raw, which of course the main event, finally a main event without division. Rhea versus Asuka. Now that match was Asuka, you do not want to pick a fight with mommy. Because if you do, you can never go back from that. The whole match was insane. And then Kyrie, she's going through a lot right now with being friends with Asuka, but being friends with Iyo, and then the whole match was crazy. By the end, Rhea picks up the win, but then by the end of it, Asuka misses Rhea. I'm like, no! What is going on? And then Asuka pushes Kairi Sane to beat up Rhea Ripley. And then Io Sky, being a friend to Rhea, she goes in there and she wants to protect Rhea. She knows what happens when you mess with Asuka. If you mess with Asuka, you get hurt. If you mess with Rhea Ripley, you get hurt. But being in that position, I mean, it was tough for Io in the end. And then Asuka betrays her. And like Rhea said to Io before, I get that's your family, but sometimes you can't trust them. And she should know. She went through that with the Judgment Day. She went through that with Dominic, went through that with Finn. The only person who trusted her was her terror twin brother Damien. But now it's like she had no one. She Finn and Dom are butting heads in the Judgment Day still. Damien is on SmackDown, and technically she's got nobody to back her up except Nikki Bella and Stephanie Vaquer. But of course, they didn't go out due to I don't know what, but they didn't go out. So with Io being surprised and shocked that Asuka betrayed her, in the back of my head, I'm like, she knew this was gonna happen. Rhea warned her many times, don't trust the people that are close to you. And it's not just Rhea that's been betrayed by the Judgment Day. Everybody's done it. I mean, look at the Shield, look at DX, look at the Bloodline, look at MFT. Like everybody who's close with anybody, they get betrayed in the end. It's not just about titles and matches. It's about personal level things. Like the enemy of the enemy is my friend. Rhea thought that with Io, but then Asuka came in the mix and it just went haywire from there. So right now we are having a new storyline cooked up with the Kabuki Warriors versus Rhea and Iyo, and of course you know Rhea and Iyo are gonna be a tag team for a little bit, take down the Kabuki Warriors, and that is gonna be freaking amazing. Now, Monday Night Raw, good and done, but let's talk about SmackDown for a second. Now, SmackDown, all we know is that it's gonna be Tiffany versus Nia Jax versus Jade Cargill for the Women's Championship. Whoever wins faces Stephanie McCare at Crown Jewel for the Crown Jewel Champion in Australia. But look, I'm not saying that Jade deserves a title match, but I don't think she's there yet. I mean, she's getting close. Let's say that she's on the right stepping stones to get to a title match opportunity. I mean, okay, she deserved that SummerSlam. I thought that was cool. She had a good match, whatever, whatever. But now she's in a triple threat match against Nia and Tiffany. Now, Nia and Tiffany are veterans in the game. Tiffany was the longest reigning NXT Women's Champion. Nia Jax, she's been in this company forever with her family, with her in-laws. She was part of the Divas era back in, I think it was like 2016, 2017. She's been there longer than anybody else in the business. Now Jade, she's still a rookie. Like she's still learning the moves. She's taking the bumps and everything, and that's fine. But I think, in my mind, my opinion, she doesn't deserve a title match yet. She's getting close, but honestly, if WWE gives her the title, this is not going to be a good look for her, her image, and especially for WWE. She's still a newcomer. She still has a long way to go. But she will prove that on SmackDown. And I'll see for myself whether or not she deserves the title or not deserve it. But in the back of my mind, she doesn't deserve it yet. She still has a long way to go. Now, let's talk about the Street Profits for a second, in which we all know they're definitely going to betray each other in the end. I mean, it's that obvious. The White Six are playing mind games with them. The Angelo and Montez have been fighting with each other. B-Fab is trying to help them, but she's got her own problems to deal with Julia, Kalani James, and the women's division, the women's tag team title. She's got a lot going on right now, so I don't think she's going to focus on the Street Profits for a while. But at the end of the day, who do you think will betray who? Will Montez Ford betray Angelo Dawkins, or will Angelo Dawkins betray Montez Ford? Either way, a betrayal will happen in the Street Profits, and Street Profits will be donezo. Now, speaking of tag teams and the tag team division right now, what is up with Miz and Carmelo Hayes? I mean, look, I saw it firsthand. Carmelo Hayes almost became a United States champion when he almost beat Sami Zayn. I think he pinned the guy and he almost got him 3 times. 3 times he almost got him. But of course, Sami Zayn retains. Now, The Miz right now is still focusing on tag team titles, which I don't get. I don't get it though, bro. Like, you're trying to help Carmelo Hayes become like the main guy. You want him to become the guy for the WWE. You want him to be the best of the best. But how can you do that if, again, you keep putting him in tag team title matches that he doesn't want? You put him in crazy situations with other tag teams like Fraxium, Morrissey Machine Guns, and then when you fight those tag team guys, you get the win and you get all the credit. Like, I thought you were helping him, but you're not. Instead of helping him, you're helping yourself because you want to be the main guy again. Look, I get it, bro. You're like a 20-year veteran or something. You've been in this business for a while. You became a tag team champion. You main evented WrestleMania against John Cena. You beat John Cena for the title and all that. Look, that's fine and dandy. But right now, it's Carmelo Hayes' time. I saw that firsthand when he fought Sammy, and the way he fought him, it was awesome. He did it by himself, no help whatsoever. Although he didn't win, he did have a lot to prove to himself and to WWE that he can do things by himself. In my opinion, I don't think Carmelo Hayes and The Miz teaming up was a good idea. I mean, he has a big ego. He thinks his way is the right way when in reality it's not. And Carmelo Hayes, he's trying to do what he's got to do for himself and his image. And right now, his image is not with The Miz. He is him, and he's him for a reason. And that's all I gotta say about that. That's all I gotta say about that. Well, that's all I got for today. And Jade Cargill fight for the women's world champion. Talk to you guys soon, and everybody have a blessed day.